Well, hello there, motherfuckers. And I had to do a little video here. I was checking up on TwitchCon, which is something I haven't really gotten into. The only streamer I really could ever watch is Mike Matei from Cinemassacre. I mean, he puts out some great Twitch streams. Now, I never go on Twitch ever. I usually wait until he posts it up on YouTube, which is like few hours after it ends, so there's no real point to ever logging into Twitch. I don't have a Twitch account. I've toyed with the idea, at the beginning of this year, I started to get into video games. I've put out quite a few video game reviews. I like working on reviews right now, but streaming is not out of the question. It might happen pretty soon. I tried out a Let's Play where I put a commentary over for Pokemon Gale of Darkness. Streams are probably going to happen in the future. So, you've got TwitchCon, and I'm reading about this on Kotaku, and they're posting numerous videos. And so, we all know about the landscape of video games and where it's going, and that there's some developers and there's some companies that insist on putting politics in their games, diversity. The past few years or so, I don't care what anybody says, it hasn't been this bad ever. It's one thing if you want to get into politics and SJWs want to waste their time on Twitter attacking everybody, calling people toxic. I am so sick of that word, by the way. Everyone overuses the word toxic. The minute someone disagrees with you on the internet, you're immediately labeled toxic. It would be a great term, I suppose, just to say that someone's undesirable, but it's been so overused, and usually the term doesn't apply. And I'll be honest, people would probably call me toxic on here because the way I speak my mind. So, if that's the case, then so be it. But I'm watching a lot of these streamers and people like coming up and doing speeches on the panel, and we've got so many representatives. Games are not diverse enough. They don't feature enough gay people. They don't feature enough black people. They don't feature enough women. And I mean, all these things can be refuted quite easily. They just introduced, like, being able to be gay in the new Assassin's Creed game. They've already made another Lara Croft Tomb Raider game. There's going to be another Lara Croft Tomb Raider movie coming out. And, you have a lot of different games where there's black characters, and it's always an option to be able to play a black character. Every single game has been diversified one way or the other. And I'm not completely against that. For example, I remember, think back to Pokemon Red and Blue. You weren't able to pick a girl. And you weren't even able to pick a girl in Gold and Silver. But Crystal came along, and all of a sudden you were able to finally pick a girl. So, that was good because, I understand, there's girls that play games too. There's, women who play games, and they might want to select a female character. And that's all fine and well. So they've done that in a lot of different games. Mass Effect, it's not really a problem anymore. But it's like never enough with these people. It's never enough. Like, games can never be exactly what they want them to be, because I think that the game developers would go mad if they fulfilled the requests of all these different personalities that get up and speak, whether it's Anita Sarkeesian or you name it, whichever person it may be on the internet or on Kotaku or Polygon, all these various video game journalists, they've become pretty much what the mainstream media is to gaming. And it seems to me in a lot of ways that the world of politics has like fused with the world of gaming, and now it's gotten totally infused. It's got all wrapped up, tied up, and connected into this really huge mess. It's like, remember when we used to like pop in a video game to try to escape from reality, try to escape from work, try to escape from relationships, or whatever the case may be. Try to escape life. It was an escape, just like movies or whatever it may be, sports, music for you. Everyone has their own escape. For many people, video games is the primary escape. And, people have made careers out of it, or they might just stream, or they might just be like me on YouTube, and they might have a relatively small, following and channel, and they just do it for fun, mainly, just to entertain people. And it's like, no matter what level you're on, it doesn't matter what facet you are in society, you cannot escape it. There's no way you could escape politics at all. Like, I'm trying very hard to stay away from that shit on this channel, and it's just, like, impossible. It follows you wherever you go. You say one thing about politics, you even, like, clue anybody in, like I'm talking about Crown Jewel for WWE, for example, and I've got people calling me a pussy for not wanting to watch it. I'm saying, like, you can't satisfy everybody. You're always gonna have people saying, "Oh, I'm disappointed in you." It's because this is the reason why. It's like we're people, we all expect different things from life until you're just not going to be happy with life until you finally come to the realization that life is never going to be the way that you want it to be or perceive it to be. And that's what I'm saying. This is what all these people here at Twitch going, "Oh, games are not like this, we need better representation." And it's like, so you know what, then go ahead and you do what you want to do. You make your own game. You show this industry how it's done. I guarantee you most of these people are not going to make a good game. And to me, it's more like, whatever happened to just making a good game? Now it's all about, like, what the game features and, what type of message or type of politics it's trying to get across, because everyone is so tied in with all different money and advertisers, and everyone's so influenced, and it's like, whatever happened to games? I mean, look what happened with Battlefield 5. Look how people like Angry Joe put their reputation on the line. A guy who rarely got into the realm of politics, but he couldn't help himself. He was driven mad, torn between one of his favorite game franchises. And I did a video about this when it happened 2 or 3 months ago, back in August. And he started, like, throwing things around. He started to have Trump derangement syndrome, and he started comparing gamers to, Battlefield 5 and who he thinks is not pre-ordering it. It was a mess, and it was one of the most disliked videos he ever had. And so, you take a look at, like, how everyone's acting, and, like, it's like, it's just video games. They're just for fun. People make money off of them. They make money because they're creating entertainment for other people. And it should be a happy thing, right? I mean, it's like, they're just games. They're just harmless forms of entertainment. But now it's very harmful. And it seems like a lot of people that are, like, trying to fight against toxicity like, here I am using the word because it's almost impossible to escape from it nowadays. The people trying to prevent toxicity in gaming are actually the ones spewing the toxicity, spewing the venom, spewing the poison, and it's infecting everybody in the industry, affecting the streamers and everything. And, you see, like, some of these people go so fucking crazy. We've seen it, whether it's in comic books, it's on TV, it's in movies. We cannot escape the social justice infection. To me, you want to use the word toxic. When you think about toxic, you think of infections. You think about the spreading of poison. And that's what it is. It's in the bloodstream of gaming and entertainment. And it's entertainment. It's supposed to be entertaining. So why does it matter? It's like, you're going to sit there and you're not being entertained with what it is, you're being satisfied, which I guess is a form of entertainment. You want your entertainment to, of course, satisfy you, but you're just sitting there like, yeah, yeah, I got representation in that game. Doesn't matter if it's shit. I mean, whatever happened to, the graphics, the play control, the sound quality, just the overall gameplay and the design of the game and the levels and the character and the story to a certain extent. I've never been a big story whore in games, but, it's just like, everyone just is just so considerate nowadays, right? It's like, oh, it doesn't matter how good a game is as long as it gets its point across. But it's been proven. It's like no one's interested in these SJW games. No one's interested in, making a better tomorrow through video games. That's not what they're there for. That's not how they ever were. Now, I understand, like, there's been movies that have had political messages and books. And so, video games are a form of media. So, like, somebody one day woke up and, said, like, oh, you got Legend of Zelda. You've got Grand Theft Auto. You've got Crash Bandicoot. You've got all these fun, entertaining video game series that are, will be forever loved in the annals of time. And then somebody woke up one day and said, you know what, let's just politicize the shit out of it because it's a form of media. Let's piss people off. Let's put women in World War II. Let's people are unhappy, but let's not listen to the naysayers, even though they're going to be the people buying our game. And so even though you're having this strong resistance and your trailer is being voted down, you're still going to insist anyway on doing what you want to do. And then you tell all the fans of your series that if you don't like it, don't buy it. And nobody did, and it was a disaster, and well deserved. And so, that's how it is now. And I'm watching all these streamers and all these people in the industry, and they just don't fucking get it because they just keep on going like a runaway train, like a train that's just, you already know, is headed headlong into a tunnel that's just, it's gonna bash into something. It's gonna wreck itself. And that's how these people are. It's like they're just a one-way ticket to a train wreck. And because they go so insane, they get so worked up, they think that they're going to make a better tomorrow, they're going to make a better world through gaming. And they just don't realize it's fucking video games. You're not going to change the world through video games. Just like, you're not going to change the world through a movie, and no one is going to single-handedly change the world through a book either. People are very strange beasts. They're very hard to consider. The only way is through real life events and just by seeing things just around you. It's just, that's how things are. The media is only going to work on the more fragile people in society, the people who get worked up, the people that fake outrage, and just, that's how it always is. Like we're saying, Lara Croft is too white in the new Tomb Raider game. It's just so many ridiculous things. It's like, what is even the point? Lara Croft has always been a Caucasian character. She's a British girl. So all of a sudden it's like, we're just supposed to automatically change the race of the character because, we're just supposed to be living in a more diverse time. Who says? Who says besides the SJW soy boy or, SJW girl with the nose ring on Twitter? I mean, who's saying this? Who sets the rules? Who lays down the groundwork for this social justice outrage mania? This manic form of mania that's going on. Who makes these rules? I don't see any rules or anything. I mean, like, is there some type of video game or media Bible that I missed out that I was supposed to read at some point in my life where, I'm supposed to, push for, certain type of thing in gaming? Like, is there supposed to be a certain mindset or philosophy or a certain type of psychology that's supposed to be implied on certain games and movies and books? I mean, like, I'm just not allowed to just enjoy what I want to enjoy. I have to worry about, there's, in Gears of War, there's only 2 white guys, and, there's, but there's only 1 black guy. Like, why, like, Can't we just enjoy the game without having to mathematically figure out the equality and the diversity and all that? It's like, come on. What are they doing to the world of gaming? It's like, you think by like reading Kotaku and Polygon that we live in a horrible, racist, prejudiced world, and it's like we really don't. It's like I go to work, I get up, I get along with people, I see it in society. I see the people and everything. I've interacted with them, and there's nut jobs out there. But for the most part, there's a lot of good people. There's a lot of good-hearted people that will go out of their way to do good things, and they want to be perceived as being good without going out of their way and have to, like, post 1,000 fucking things on Twitter to say, oh, look how great I am and how concerned I am about society. So that's just not how people are, really. So, it's like these people like Kotaku and Polygon and people at TwitchCon, it's like they've been sitting in a dark room for way too long. They need to get outside and see how people really are and how they react and how they perceive things, such as video games. Because I think you'll see that most people really don't care about, how many of this particular race is in this video game. And, like, for example, the one guy that was saying, like, I think he was, like, on the gay panel, for example, he was saying that, if you get on a stream and you make homophobic comments and stuff and you egg somebody on, you're a horrible person. I'm sorry, but, I'm not for that. It doesn't matter whether or not someone agrees with the lifestyle or not. There's no reason to go out of your way to try to upset somebody. You just, it's not. It's being an asshole, and I understand that there's a lot of people out there. I personally know people like this who will go out of their way to be an asshole. And they're not, like, inherently bad people. They're not bad people, really, overall. But it's a poor quality, characteristic that they have. And they should really lay off, trying to go out of their way purposely to try to rile people up. And, what I'm saying? Like, people have done it to me in life. They've done it to me here on YouTube. But more importantly, they've done it to me outside of YouTube. Which is gonna, you could say what you want about me here on YouTube, but, like, I'm sorry to say, like, I love my subs, but, like, if you're just a random person I haven't interacted before and you come and attack me, I think you can see, it doesn't faze me. I'm still going to come on here, say what I want anyway. You're not going to have an effect on me. You might, like, just maybe sometimes get me, like, oh, because I'm only human like this fucking asshole. And I'll probably reply to it or something like that. But, I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna sleep just fine. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna be like underneath the covers and be like, oh, this guy got me. It's ruining me. No, it's sorry. I'm still gonna get up. Still gonna go about my day and be just fine and not worrying about the tool on YouTube that's giving me a hard time. I'm still probably the next day gonna put out a new video and say pretty much what I want to say, much like this video. So it's not really gonna have an effect on me. So, that's how I feel like most people should be. But I'm saying, like, people come at me. It doesn't, like, really matter. Because the thing is with these Twitch streamers that don't leave their fucking room all day need to understand is that sometimes you are going to be faced with adversity in your life. Sometimes people are going to say things to you that are a little bit mean. I can't even count how many times people have said things to me that were off color and mean that I didn't like. But, I got up the next day and once again lived my life and still carried on. So they need to understand. It's like, okay, so somebody might have said something to you mean, but it's like, it shouldn't matter like what your orientation is or what, color you are. It's like, we all should perceive it the same way. Say that person's an asshole and move on. We don't need to be starting a war against a certain type of person. We shouldn't have to police the internet. Look, you're on Twitch, you're streaming. anybody can come onto your Twitch screen unless you ban them or you block them or whatever the case may be. So that's why the block button is there. If you're getting a lot of assholes, then, you know, that's just how it is. You're on the internet. Just like me, I'm on YouTube. I know I'm going to get a lot of assholes. There's spammers. There's people. There's just some guy the other day who he went on my channel board and just kept, you know, messaging me like fucking dirty ass shit on there. And so, you know, what do? I blocked him. You know what I mean? He's spamming me. I'm going to block him. That's all it is. You know what I mean? When I first got on YouTube, I didn't block anybody. I was like, freedom of speech. And then I was like, you know what? I believe in freedom of speech, but you're spamming me. So I don't want to see this anymore. Get it out of here. But I think like most people know, don't delete comments for the most part unless it's spam. If you're saying something mean or you're saying something against like my views, I'm not going to like delete it. Just put it there. I'll probably, like I always do, probably respond to you. But you know, like I said, just because, you know, you have a certain mindset, you know, that doesn't make you getting offended mean more than other types of people. And this is what I'm saying. Like, people on Twitch need to understand. You're putting yourself out there to the public. You are going to face danger. Just like, you know, the very popular streamer, Dr. Disrespect, right? The guy had shots fired at his house because he was a public figure. You know, sometimes it's like that. When you become super popular, people have shown up to other people's doors. The Hodge twins, for example, super popular YouTubers that got 2 million subs recently. People have shown up to their house. They've like watched their videos closely and they've looked for parts where their address or something may have been exposed, and like they'll look them up and they'll go to their house and ask for a picture. They've talked about it on a number of occasions. And that's how it is. You get popular, you're putting yourself out there, and people, they're going to find you, they might harass you, but that is just how it is. And you know, that's one thing. If somebody shows up to your house, yeah, then you should take it to the next level. That's offensive. That's not just offensive. That's a means for concern. But if someone's saying something a little bit mean to you and everything, just block them and move about your day. There's no reason to go on a whole political Moses, you know, through the desert type of exodus where you're like parting fucking Red Seas like, oh, we're going to change the world of gaming. It's not necessary. It doesn't need to happen. It's not realistic. It's ridiculous. It's annoying. It's going too far. It's far-fetched. It is just completely asinine. It's just, you know, all these people, they make themselves look like fools. Especially when you sit back and you say, it's just comic books. It's just gaming. There's people starving in the world. There's wars being fought. There's people in other countries that are just, you know, they're being persecuted for their religious beliefs. You know, you have women, you know, being killed in oppressive countries. And we're here talking about the diversity in a fucking video game. First world problems, people. First world problems. If I ever did see them. I mean, it really is. It's pathetic. You know, we talk about like this is such a horrible country. We're living in one of the best countries in the world where you're allowed to say all this and not get in trouble, because it ain't even like that in the UK anymore. You could pretty much say whatever you want on the internet. You might get banned. You might get taken off the platform like Alex Jones or Milo Yiannopoulos, you know, but you're going to be able to say what you want for the most part. And you really don't have a lot to fear, you know, in most cases. So all I'm saying is that, you know, before you make that next post, before you go on that next rant, before, you know, you take the mic at TwitchCon or VidCon or whatever con it may be at, maybe you're the one sounding like the con, as in con man. You know, maybe you should really rethink your approach, and you think that maybe what you're getting so worked up about, what you're getting so outraged about, is maybe not worth it. It's not worth all the energy. It's not worth all, you know, understand, like, these people, they know that being an SJW is popular, and it's gonna get you exposure, just like Anita Sarkeesian, whatever the case may be. Look, now Anita might be hated by a large portion of the internet, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that side with her, a lot of women, a lot of lonely women that must be siding with her, and also desperate men who probably would, given the chance, smell her toes or some weird stuff like that. It's just people, everyone has an audience. There's somebody out there for everybody, like they say with a relationship. And it's the same thing when it comes to like a voice on the internet. Oh, there's going to be some weird person that's going to agree with you. Not just a person, but probably a group. Especially if your thoughts are in the minority. You're going to have that silent majority come to you, and they're going to listen to you what you have to say. Because if you got a message that not a lot of people that are preaching, you're unique. You're going to get that audience from you, and I think that's pretty impressive that you have the ability to say that. But it's also sometimes the ideas are ridiculous, and that's what it is. It's just people know that SJW behavior and culture is popular. It's the new in thing, even though it usually backfires a lot of people. As you see, I know a lot of people actually they'll say sometimes that SJWs they never win in the end. It's like the forces of evil. They never end up winning. It's always the good guys who end up finding a way of pulling out the victory in the end, because that's karma. That's an act of God. That's just sometimes how society is. But it's just non-stop is the only problem. It's, like I said, a runaway train with no end in sight. The SJW train just comes barreling down the track, and it just keeps on smashing through shit. And every once in a while, common sense will derail that train, or make a pit stop at least. But it'll keep barreling on, because there'll be new people jumping on that train and shoveling coal into the fire, igniting the flame, and the big steam engine just keeps flying down the track. And that's just how it is. But there you go, guys. There's a little rant. And, if you enjoyed this, hit the thumbs up. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who will enjoy this. I haven't really talked too much about gaming from this perspective, but something about me looking at Kotaku and looking at those TwitchCon videos, I was like, oh, here we go again. Here's the next, wannabes, and the next Anita's coming out of the woodwork. Because that's how it always is. When one fails, another one is born right out of the other one. You know what I mean? So, it's a shame. But anyway, hit the thumbs up, so hopefully some other people could watch this video and enjoy it as well. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you were subscribed, make sure that you still are subscribed, because I've explained this in the past. My subs know. My subscriber count is hey, it's just all over the place. Sometimes I'm up 10 subs, sometimes I'm down 10 subs, sometimes I'm up 5, I'm down 5. It's been very hard. But anyway, I still persevere. Check out some of the other videos I have posted here, and click the bell so you can get all my notifications when I post my new content. Anyway, guys, hope you all enjoyed. Until next time.